Congress set up two key panels for the upcoming Kerala Assembly elections. The party's working committee member Ramesh Chennithala and Thiruvananthapuram MP Shashi Tharoor have been appointed chairman and co-chairman respectively of the party's campaign committee in Kerala. Tharoor's appointment assumes significance as it comes days after he met Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge and leader of the opposition in the Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi, for redressal of his grievances, after which he said everything was good. And later, we see his appointment with regard to the Congress panel, especially as the vice chairman to the campaign panel. Kharge has approved the proposal for constitution of the campaign committee and the manifesto committee of the Kerala Pradesh Congress Committee for the upcoming assembly elections. And both Ramesh Chennithala as well as Shashi Tharoor now will play a prominent role in the campaign for the Congress in the state. A big announcement and also a big shake-up within the Kerala's Congress campaign committee itself, and also for those who are following it, it's about the groupism that has existed within the Congress. Well, it looks like the AICC has decided to in fact go ahead and ensure that the campaign this time is led by Ramesh Chennithala as well as Shashi Tharoor. Shashi Tharoor being given a very prominent role in Kerala politics, especially in the state when it comes to this campaigning as such. We are joined by Sneha Koshi, Output Deputy Editor, who joins us with more. Sneha Koshi, interestingly enough, Ramesh Chennithala was the person who headed the last time the campaign itself. He's been brought back into this campaign committee. And then the other interesting person who's been brought in is Shashi Tharoor, who has mostly been in the national sphere, but has been given, maybe for the first time, a very prominent role when it comes to Kerala's Congress campaigning in the state itself. So clearly two different people with two different thoughts being brought into a panel, and looks like they are rejigging the entire Congress machinery within the state itself.
Well, Verghese, this is definitely a very, very important development. And the manner in which this announcement has come, the timing around this announcement, and the two faces that seem to be at the helm of it all, one being Ramesh Chennithala and the other being Shashi Tharoor, two very different personalities, but both have very important contributions to the party and a very strong perception around them as well. So firstly, this is Congress trying to put its house in order. Why am I saying that? Because remember, this is elections in Kerala. The challenge before Congress in Kerala is humongous. And when I say that, it was the last assembly elections where it was an absolute rout of sorts for Congress. The left got an unprecedented, historic second comeback. The revolving door policy, you know, of how voters changed between the two parties, the two fronts, they revolved between the two fronts, came to an end, left came to a historic win. That is the background which needs to be seen. One, in how these leaders have been announced, the poll campaign committee has been announced, and the manifesto committee has been announced. The second backdrop to it is, of course, a whole lot of infighting that was developing within the Congress, not new to Congress. This is something which happens before every election, has happened in Kerala as well in the past. But this time, over the last few months, you've seen Ramesh Chennithala as well as Shashi Tharoor both concerned about how they were, quote-unquote, being sidelined. There were those who were close to them, who brought this up several times in public domain. There were discourses around this, and the two had even taken this up with the High Command as well. High Command, as the Congress calls it, the High Command. So this is literally a run-up to all of that. Now, let's just break this up for our viewers who may not be familiar with what's been happening in Kerala, particularly in Congress. So Ramesh Chennithala is a party loyalist. He is seen as a party loyalist. He rose up the ranks as a student leader with the KSU. He went on to hold several key positions, of course, heading the party, heading, you know, he was even the opposition leader. He was also at some point the deputy chief minister. So very key positions that Ramesh Chennithala has held. It was a very different way in which K. Sudhakar and V.D. Satishan were brought into the party to helm its affairs after the last assembly elections. This was seen as a way that Ramesh Chennithala and the other Congress leaders could not contain the infighting. Now with Ramesh Chennithala being brought back, this is a very important messaging, which also is possibly Congress's way of giving its own party the message that these leaders who have led Kerala in the past and have grown from the ground, have risen up from the ranks, is very important for the party. So that's one strong messaging. The other is for Shashi Tharoor. Remember, a lot has happened over the last few months where Shashi Tharoor has indicated about how he was sidelined. There were those who were close to him who spoke about it, whether it be the Kochi event, where many people said, look at the body language, about how he was not addressed, about how he has not been backed by the party in public narratives in the past. These were narratives that were out in public discourse. But importantly, Shashi Tharoor has always faced a backlash from Congress within Kerala, and that's also because how Shashi Tharoor has been perceived as somebody who's been parachuted from Delhi, as it were, even though he's been a 4 times MP now. So now the messaging coming very strong from the Congress, Ramesh Chennithala, Shashi Tharoor, both of them going to lead the election strategy. The appeals of both of them also very, very important. You have Ramesh Chennithala, who is the old guard as he is seen, a very strong face, somebody who can pacify the liberals, as well as somebody who has a very strong Hindu identity. Shashi Tharoor, remember during Sabrimala, while the Congress in Delhi were claiming several other things when it came to the women's entry inside Sabrimala, it was Shashi Tharoor who made certain statements and spoke about faith, and he put that forward as well. So you have an appeal going beyond several dimensions. One, when it comes to faith, about the stronghold of the vote bank, as it were, both for Ramesh Chennithala and Shashi Tharoor. And then you, of course, have the appeal in terms of the liberal cross-section, the young voters, as it were. So it seems to be a combination of, one, the victories that they have won in the past, the electoral wins that they have won, the ways in which they have led the party. And two, remember, there's also a lot of young guard which has been brought in as well. So it's not just about these two leaders. A lot of young guards from different factions, so-called different factions, have been brought into the election committee and the manifesto committee. And that's also going to be very interesting to see. You have Shafi Parambil, you have several other leaders as well who have been brought into the fold. So that's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Challenge, Verghese, is very clear. The last assembly elections just did not go according to what Congress would have wanted it to. It was very humiliating for them. So the mandate and the challenge is very clear for Congress in Kerala. That is not going to be acceptable again.
Well, interestingly enough, it looks like they are getting back into the demographic combination. Like in Central Kerala, they're looking for the Nair Nasrani combination. In North Kerala, they're looking for the Muslim Nair combination. So the Nair leaders are now again becoming a prominent face within the Congress.
Oh, absolutely. And if you look at the vote bank, you know, of these two leaders, you would see even that coming out in these names and the way they have won in their constituencies as well. So one, it's about the Nair vote consolidation, something that we have seen with Shashi Tharoor as well. We have seen with Ramesh Chennithala, certain sections of the Hindu voters and the consolidation, particularly in the belt where he contests. That's again something that's been seen. Two leaders are perceived like that, but the two leaders also go beyond that. Their appeals to voters is even beyond that. For example, in case of Shashi Tharoor, nobody would say that his vote bank is only the Nairs. You have a combination of people across the cross section, whether it be for Shashi Tharoor or for Ramesh Chennithala. So that identity politics being very important, and in a way it's also going beyond that. So consolidation of votes plus the whole appeal to the larger cross section that they carry as well, and that's the messaging possibly that they are trying to build into the Congress panel announcements that have come forth, Verghese.
Well, thank you, Sneha Koshi, for in fact joining us with all those details. Big announcement in Kerala's Congress and a big shake-up that has been seen as well.